Welcome back to episode 55.
This will become a wash trommel. We've not done any parts to make it a wash trommel.
So we're on site this morning with this shredder.
And then there is a flat plate that goes on here that should deflect material better rather than it just being a flat surface.
That is possibly one of the most challenging parts of running a business.
We're on the way to the office. I'm going to find George and get him on our Spitfire rapid questions. He might be a little bit concerned with what I'm holding.
Staff problems, we've had to sack somebody. Welcome back to episode 55, and this week it's all gone wrong. Staff problems, we've had to sack somebody. Okay, so it's Monday, back at it this week after having 2 weeks off. We've had to come in and sack somebody this morning, which we'll come on to later on. So trying to get caught up this morning, got loads of stuff going on. Georgina's been really busy the last couple of weeks with inquiries for mini screens, so I'm just catching up with her on that. And then we've got lots of other stuff going on. So this afternoon I head to Avonmouth for the night, doing a job down there tomorrow with Jamo and Henry that are down there working on a big industrial shredder. We've modified the machine in a certain way and I've got to go down there and sort out the hydraulics. So I'll take you with me and you can see what I mean by that. So we're on site this morning with this shredder. I've seen these shredders before, but I don't think you've seen this particular one before. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what we're doing. So if you remember previously in that we've done one of these on a different shredder, but this week we are welding on new square blocks. If you see just there's some new square blocks being welded on. So we're welding them on, and that door there is a flap and it's jammed open at the minute. We need to get it so it comes more this way because that is in its open position, and then behind it on here, this bar here goes into that hole there, and there's a shear pin that goes through on here. It's part of this mechanism here where my finger is, so that lifts up to there somehow. No, it doesn't. That goes all the way over that way, and the bar comes through that hole, and then there's a pin just there, if you can see it, that's broken, and the idea being if something heavy goes through, that pin snaps, the door swings this way, and whatever heavy is can go round, but this is all jammed up, so we've got to free this off, and then we're converting this, we're putting a hydraulic ram in here, because what they've had to do with this, they've had to try and get a machine in here to try and push this back down because the door jams. So what we're going to try and do is put a hydraulic ram in here now so that the hydraulics can reset the door. But we've had problems yesterday getting started because they weren't quite ready for us, and because they're running this machine at night, we've had to be shut down for 3 o'clock in the afternoon because there needs to be a 2-hour fire watch because of all the wood chip round here. So we have to shut down at 3 o'clock so they can run overnight. But last night they were running and there was an electrical problem. The machine shut down. There's 2 electricians that have come out this morning to look at it, and the contactors have gone in the control panel. But we've managed to do a temporary fix so we can get the hood open so we can continue what we're doing, but the electricians have now gone off to go and get some more contactors to repair that, so hopefully they'll be back later on today so they can shut the hood and run it tonight. But we're just going to have a measure up for this push ram. We were hoping to do that on this visit, but with the things that have gone wrong we're going to run out of time, and they do need to run this machine tonight, so we've resorted to plan B, which is come back and do that at a later date. So we're going to finish doing the welding inside, we're going to try and get the reject door closed and get everything reset on there so they can run it with the reject door in the position it should be, and then we'll come back at a later date to put the push ram on and some other jobs that won't get done today. So I came down here to have a look at the hydraulics and where we're going to tee into for this push ram. Obviously we're not going to do that today, but what we can do is measure up for what we need and order in the hoses. I was going to come down today, hopefully we're going to get that push ram on. The plan was to get that push ram on. I was going to come down here, sort out what we're going to do hydraulic wise, and go to a place at the road to get some hydraulics to make it all work. But now we're not doing that. We've now got the opportunity where we can measure up now while we're here, get the stuff ordered in and bring it down with on the next visit. So on this machine there is a hydraulic pin puller, and you've seen that in a previous episode. This one's not attached to the machine all the time, they take it off and they use this gantry crane here above to lift the pin puller, and it goes in this hole here, and then this valve block down here with these hoses, they clip onto the pin puller, and we're going to utilise this hydraulic service here to operate our ram up there. So when that ram's in position, that ram has potentially, we've made it so it folds down, because obviously when it's lifted up like this, it's quite tall and it could hit this big motor here, and that looks expensive, so I don't want to be replacing that. So this is actually going to fold down that way when we do it. So we need hydraulics that run from the ram at the top, come around the top, around here at the top, follow these pipes down here, and then we'll end up over here and connect into these quick release fittings on here that JMO's just cleaning up now. So we're going to get them measured up now. I'm going to start heading back to the yard whilst JMO, and we've got Henry here as well from Spitfire Engineering. Follow him on Instagram, he needs as much help as he can get. He's smiling at me now as I'm saying that. I'm running him down gently. So going to leave them two here to do the welding. They've got to be wrapped up by 3 because of the fire watch, and then they'll stay here till 5 just to make sure everything's okay, and then they'll head back. Customer here has actually got infrared thermal cameras, so whenever we do any hot works down here, they come around with the infrared thermal camera to see if there is any hidden hot spots in any of the wood that's about near the machine. They've had a couple of issues in the past with fires, so they're very, very hot, ignore the pun, on any potential fires. So fire safety around here is actually quite key. So they'll crack on and finish that, and I'll head back to the yard.
Currently sat at the end of the wash Trommel project. So the assembly side of this has paused very slightly. Jamie's on site today. Stuart's currently painting, so in the middle of his painting in there, so while he's waiting for different sides to dry, he can come out here and carry on assembling panel work. He's sort of out here a little bit in the way, but there's not much more work left on it now. So I'm currently sitting in front of the Spitfire 5014, Spitfire Raptor 5014P. This will become a wash trommel. We've not done any parts to make it a wash trommel. So the 5014P stands for 50, so the 50 is 5 meters long, the 14 is 1.4 meters in diameter, and then the P stands for pivot. So this part here at the front, there are pins, bushes, and sort of grease points here, so that it pivots along those. So it's completely adjustable. I can't remember to what degree, to be fair, quite literally to what degree of angle. So there are screw auger flights or auger flights inside, so when it is on a negative angle, the material is still pushed forward and through out of the drum. Yeah, it's been quite nice to make. The haulage company, we're liaising with the customer there, they're liaising with our haulage company. They are expected in at the start of next week, so hopefully we'll be able to see that coming out of the yard early next week. Yeah, another trommel out the door. So we're in the spray shop now. We've got Stuart behind me. We won't be too long in here. We've got conveyors 3 and 4 and all of the sort of components that go on them in here at the minute, apart from the legs. So plan is to get these sprayed today, possibly get them out later on today, depending on how well they dry. If not, definitely tomorrow morning, and then start getting these assembled, so going forward through the week. Stuart has just finished painting the head and tail sections as well as the side sections for conveyors 3 and 4. So everything in here should be now done, drying off. So yeah, we'll take you over to Steve, who's on the rest of conveyor 5. So I'm currently stood on the frame for the conveyor 5. Steve is in the process of getting all the panel work off now, just cleaning some of them up as he's taking them off, so we don't have to put them on pallets, take them back off, put them back on pallets. Once that's done, we're going to mag drill the holes. So we've marked out where they need to be. Steve will just double check the depth in from the side that need to be. Mag drill all of these, and this is ready to go and get painted. Conveyor 5. So all outside painted now. The team are getting some of the painted stuff in the spray shop in a moment. They are going to finish off spraying the additional panels, so back panel, greedy boards, bearing covers, that sort of fun stuff. That's going in there soon. We're finishing off some other bits and bobs in the yard before they do that quickly. I'll take you over to Steve now. So this is the vibrating feeder number 2 for the Manchester project. So this is what Steve's fabricating now. He fabricated the first one, so it makes sense for Steve to fabricate the second one as well. He knows what to do, how to do it, the right order, any changes he needs to do to his order of fabrication from last time to now. So yeah, this is the base part of it going together now. Obviously this is a nice clear bay from where conveyor 5 was. There's still some of the guarding in here from where it does need to go outside, but that's once the lads have got ready for it out there basically. Currently welding up the vibrating feeder for the Manchester project. So there's been quite a lot of prep and tack work in this, so just make sure that all the tacks are evenly spaced. Makes it a lot easier to weld, a lot faster to weld, and it looks a lot better, and it performs a lot better. So Steve has got a few more hours worth of welding, so by the looks of it, he's just started welding. A few more hours worth of welding left in this. Once this is done, Steve will move on to the framework for this vibrating feeder, and then hopefully that goes to the paint room ASAP.
Here we have the shaker deck for one part of the Manchester processing plant. Steve's working on this currently, so he's got a few more welds to do on the outside, weld the back plate in, and then there is a flat plate that goes on here that should deflect material better rather than it just being a flat surface. So yeah, that's going to be welded in, and then I think that's about it for this. Steve will move on.
So this is the vibrating feeder that Steve has fabricated. This is the body and the chute for it, at least. Some of the suspension mounts are inside this as of now. Steve is currently behind me fabricating part of the frame. So there's two parts of this frame. It's a tipping vibrating feeder. So it's got a hinge point at the front and then adjusted on some bolts at the back. The vibrating feeder frame. So we've got the two frames here that are joined by the pivot section. We're doing it to fit, so following the drawings, but to fit essentially. So if we are a couple mil out, up, down, left, right, doesn't really matter as long as it works and the base drawings, the base measurements are the same. So Steve's currently tacking up the bushes inside the plates that weld on the side here. So once they're tacked up, they will then be put on the end of this shaft. The plates will then sort of sit wherever they sit on here. They can then get tacked up. We can test it, weld it up fully. Yeah, that's about it. So next we'll show you what Rob's doing. No, so Rob is currently fabricating some of the return rollers for the Manchester project picking line conveyor at the minute. I think there's 4 more we needed to do. So he's working on them now. Most of the parts are painted. Lads are sort of finishing them off as and when. These rollers will be ready to go in there. There's not much assembling to do with this, to be fair, actually on site, until we get up to Manchester, and then the conveyor belt can go when we're up there.
Now this week we've had some staff related issues, and any business owner who employs people will know that that is possibly one of the most challenging parts of running a business. So recently we've had some new guys start as engineering operatives. We had one quit a few weeks ago. Just never did get to the bottom of why, to be honest. He just said it wasn't for him. It just wasn't the job that he wanted to do, which is fair enough and that, but you'd sometimes feel, is there something else going on? I don't know, to be honest. And then this week, his replacement, we interviewed the guy that we replaced him with before, and he was like the 3rd candidate. We took 2 people on, he was the 3rd candidate, and interviewed fine, day's trial, because we do what we call a try before you buy. So anybody coming to join us will come in for workshop, in for the day, we pay them for the day, we try them out, they try us out, and then if it doesn't work, nobody's handed the notice in or quit. So we interviewed this guy, come in and did a day's trial, everything seemed fine, and then he worked for us for probably 3 or 4 weeks, and he just wasn't the right fit in the business. He just wasn't the right person that we were looking for, which sort of made us have a conversation in the workshop and sort of in the office about, we need to look at our recruiting process. Is there something we can do better, just to see if we can find the right people for our business? Because I know that our business is quite diverse and we do a range of different things, and anybody joining us needs to have a range of different skills. So it is a unique person that we are looking for, but generally the actual technical side of it we can train, and the issues that we have generally come down to the type of character and the type of person that we want. We want somebody with a can-do attitude, who's positive and proactive and is interested and motivated, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to find that type of person. And other people I speak to in our position, they are saying the same. I've noticed in the last 10 years, people don't seem to want to work like they used to. And when we let the guy go yesterday, he was very much, yeah, okay, thanks for the opportunity sort of thing, which is, you know, that's decent of him. But you just wonder sometimes, is the right people that we're looking for out there? And it's provoked more of a conversation in the office. I've started the conversation about we need to look at what systems and management things we put in place in the workshop and also in the business to look after the guys that we have got that are good and make sure that they're well trained. We're constantly doing different training, whether it's forklift, cherry pickers, first aid, fire extinguisher training, abrasive wheels, grinding, you name it, everybody's doing it. So we're doing all those things, but is there other things that we can do to make sure that we're looking after our staff as much as possible? So I've said we need to probably approach recruitment from a different angle, because what we've done traditionally is we'll put a advert on Indeed and we do get a lot of candidates, but I've said we only ever get the candidates that are looking for a job. And I may be wrong on this, but my gut feel is that there's a high percentage of those candidates that potentially just drift from job to job to job. And obviously we want to retain people, we want to look after them, we want them to work for us for a long time, and it's a two-way relationship. We look after them and give them everything they want, career development through training and giving them interesting projects and work to work on, and in return we need a level of commitment from them people to stay with us and look after us as a company and do good work and generally fit in with the rest of the team. So I've said we need to probably approach this from a different angle, and instead of fishing in the pond that's got people looking for a job, we potentially need to fish in a bigger pond. So what we've done this week, and me and Adam did it on Monday, and it was incredibly hard to do, to be honest, and you'll probably see some of that in the outtakes. We've actually done a film, and the idea is that we're going to do a short video, and we're going to do Facebook paid ads. We're going to obviously select a radius from our base at Brixworth and the interests and the type of people that we're looking to attract. So we've actually done a short video, and we're going to do it as a Facebook page ad, encouraging people that if they are interested in a change and working for us at Spitfire, to apply, and we'll see how we go. We don't know quite how it's going to go, but if we don't try, we don't know. So fingers crossed, we might be able to find the right person. Now this Friday marks our 20 years in business, and that first day in business 20 years ago sometimes feels like it was only last month, sometimes it feels like it was an absolute lifetime away, and there's been a lot of ups and downs in them 20 years. And what we've decided to do, and I've mentioned this before, what we've decided to do to commemorate 20 years is to do a special episode on YouTube, which is me saying about how the business started, how it's developed over the years, the highs and the lows, the good bits, the bad bits, and it's sort of to document where we've got to in the first 20 years of our journey. So me and Adam have been putting our heads together, and we should start filming that next week. I would wanted to do it so it was out for our 20th anniversary, but with different things, 2 weeks in America and Canada didn't out, we've not had a chance to do it. So hoping next week we can knuckle down and film that, and that will hopefully come out in the next few weeks. So me and Adam have also been talking about some other special episodes that we are looking at doing, just to add some more value to our channel. And we're working quite closely with another company at the minute. Is a new startup in the welding and fabrication game, and we've decided that we could do a small series of videos covering what's involved in starting a welding and fabrication business, going from what direction you should go in, what's the best way to start it, what's involved, the costs involved in starting a business, and we're looking at doing a series of short videos that are more information and sort of things to avoid, pitfalls, good bits, bad bits, that sort of thing, things to consider. So we're looking at doing a series of short videos like that. Now, if you've got any ideas of any subjects that you'd like us to cover, what you think would be quite interesting, leave it in the comments below and we'll have a look at it and we'll see if we can include that in what we're doing.
So, company update for this week is we are back in the country, which is quite nice. There's been a lot going on. I think Gavin's already talked about we had to get rid of somebody. It's a disappointment. Nice enough guy, not right, so we move. We've got some adverts going out, which I think has been mentioned. So we're going to try a slightly different way of recruiting, see what that brings us. Company news, we've got quite a lot of training going on with our team. We are members of a business group and they provide us training every year, which we pay for, which allows a lot of the staff in the offices type work roles to go on various training. So it might be time management, something like that, but what we've done is we've given everybody in the office teams, including people like Adam, to this brochure which offers all of the training options and say pick a course as long as it's reasonable and we can see it aligns with part of their job or part of their future development. We put them on that course and it's run by a company in Birmingham, so they go up there for the day. Yeah, really good value. So I've got a couple more of those to book for Alicia because she's going to be helping me out with marketing. So yeah, it's a bit of a change, but we've had a slight change around with some of the things in the office. But I think it's going to be great. So yeah, Alicia's going to be with me and Adam doing the sales and marketing side of things.
So we are now in the little workshop with the 21C screen boxes. So Connor is working on these at the minute. So the first one is fabricated and is done out of the way. This is the second one now. So I think you've seen Connor before doing fabricating the cassettes. So fabricated all of them to begin with, and then this way we can just get on with both screen boxes together as opposed to having to chop and change between the cassettes and screen boxes. So yeah, Connor will be on this. Next bit will be the conveyors and then the framework after that. So this week you'll see us certainly get most of that done. So yeah, stay watching.
So I'm here sitting on the two screen boxes. You got my last week's one, which you did see, and you got my today's one, which you're seeing now. Pretty cool how we make these. A lot of it is jig work, because we make a lot of these. So I've got jig to make the two cassettes here. Well, I've made 4, but there's 2 in each, and then I just weld on these plates before I put the sides on all together, so it's just easier to move around. Then bolt everything up, make sure it's all square. Then I can start putting in my end panels. Get them welded on, and then after all that's done, flip it over and I can get my tubes built up. I've previously said before how we welded them all on the flat. All of this is welded on the flat, as I said, because it vibrates, so it needs strength in that. Yeah, these are done, out of the way now, because all the other components are built up, like the roster mounts and chutes. I've done them previously, which you've already seen. Yeah, I'm onto the conveyor now, so you should see a bit of that soon.
So we've got Connor behind me now. He is currently fabricating the E21C conveyor side sections. So there's 2 on each conveyor. We have a head, middle and tail for each side. So there's 2 middle sections per conveyor, 2 heads, 2 tails, quite obviously. Connor is on the 4th head section. So what's the time now? 8:41, so we've got 50 minutes till break. I reckon Connor will probably have this conveyor section, all of these main parts, done by about lunchtime. So we'll we'll see if it gets around there. That's just a bit of an estimate. As long as everything goes right, that should hopefully be the case. If not, we've got time to worry about that later. Yeah, conveyor sections, and then we're going to be making the sides of the E21Cs using our jig.
Underneath me here are 2 conveyors. You've got everything from your rollers, your sides, your backing plates, rubber clamps, everything's there. I worked on this today, well, from this morning until now, just to get these done. Not really too hard to make because a lot of these are just end plates, but on the tail and head end, as I can see here, it's a bit more to it because you've got, you know, tensioners in there and parts, so that's quite fun. Yeah. Pretty much onto the frame now, and then that is getting through the work. So, as I said, I'm on the frame now. This is the first part that I'm working on. How we do these is we build a side each, and then put them like that, and put all the bits in the middle. Nice jig for these, because we make a lot of these, might as well. So it's not really too bad. As I said, it's a frame, so it needs to be on the flat. So I'm going to weld everything on this face now, flip it over, weld everything on the other face, and I can stand it up and tip it upside down to get all the T-fillets, just so everything's secure really. Yeah, this is the first part, so you should see more as I go on. Hello superfans, this is the first side of the frame done for the E21C. I'm still on the first one. I'm currently making the right hand side inside at the minute. This is the left hand side. So how we do it, we build both sides up, put them like that, and then put all of the cross beams in the middle. You can tell it's left hand side because the angle's at the bottom, and your roster mounts because they have to face into the machine. Yeah, this one done, on to the next one. So this is a full frame for one E21C done. These are both sides, all fully welded, left and right as you can see. You can better see now with the roster mounts here. All I need to do now is put the middle beams in, but I'm not going to do that yet because I'm going to work on either side of the other E21C, which I'm working on now, which you should see later on.
So Granite is now fabricated all the sides for the frames. So the 4 sides are fabricated. Connor is now putting the joiner bars on one of the sides, ready to connect up to the other side. So once these are tacked on there, we'll move some of this stuff out of the way, get the other side of the frame on, connect it all up, get the legs in, and then yeah, we should be about there for this one in terms of tacking up. We're going to do the same for the other ones. So they've got them both tacked up, ready to weld up, put them to the side, We'll put one to the side, sorry. Start welding that one up, start welding the second one. Yeah, hunky dory. Rolling. Nice. Welcome to Spitfire Rapid Fire Questions.
Hi.
Yes. What's your favourite machine / project you've sold so far this year?
LCL, E21C, and an infeed hopper.
Yeah.
Hi, Gav.
Yeah. Hello. What's your favourite project you're looking forward to so far this year that's in the pipeline? Or can you not talk about it?
Can't talk about it. Top secret.
Top secret. What's your favourite part of the Manchester project? Out of all the different components.
The walkway. Love the walkway and
the
frame.
Big framework.
Yeah, like that.
Very
like
nice.
the colour.
What shows are we at this year? We can not talk about that yet.
Can't say.
Bit weird that. What's your favourite Spitfire episode so far?
I don't know.
Rob doesn't know. What's your favourite part of this Manchester project?
What have I made?
Conveyors.
Picky line's alright.
Picky line, very nice. Picky line, start assembling very soon, so that'd be nice to see it done on site. Okay, Rob's a little bit boring this morning. First day back and whatnot. Hello Connor, welcome to Spitfire Questions. What's your favourite part of the Manchester project so far?
Favourite part?
Yeah.
Quite like the picking line.
Connor quite likes the picking line. I think someone else said that. Did someone else say that, Adam? Rob said that. What are the questions have we asked so far? What's your least favourite part about building an E21C? He can't think of any because they're so amazing. What's your favourite part of building an E21C?
Whole job. The whole thing.
The whole thing is his favourite part.
The worst part about an E21C is finishing it. So I have to watch it go. And I do get slightly attached to each one of these I make. I put 20 quid in each one of these I make. Buy your own and see if you can find it.
May or may not be true, please don't hold us to it. Hello Melissa. Welcome to Spitfire Rapid Questions.
Oh gosh.
What's your favourite machine so far this year?
The walkway for the Manchester project.
Same as Andrea. What's your favourite part of the favourite part of the Manchester project would be that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've thrown you now, haven't I?
Yeah, that's proper wrecked my line of questions. What else can we ask Adam?
I have a question.
Okay.
What's your favourite thing about working here?
All the people.
Very lovely answer. Moving on to the next one. So I've got Stuart here with the Spitfire Rapid Questions. What's your favourite project so far this year?
The Manchester project.
The Manchester project. What part of the Manchester project has been your favourite?
Building the frame.
The big
frame.
Big frame and walkway. That is third person to say that so far. I don't know if you're going to keep this in order, but yeah, that's proving very popular this year. We're on the way to the office. I'm going to find George and get him on our Spitfire Rapid Questions. He might be a little bit concerned with what I'm holding. I'm holding it in a very health and safety conscious way though. We're interrupting a meeting here, but that doesn't matter. Spitfire Rapid Questions come first. Hello, George Moore.
Interrupting meetings with a saw.
Yeah, with a saw. You're quite a saw person, aren't you?
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah. What's your favourite project so far this year?
A Manchester project.
What part of the Manchester project? Everyone said that. What part of it?
Trommel.
Ooh. We'll get to see that in the workshop, so stay tuned in the next few episodes to see that come through. You can't say that. So, we've got Adam here.
Hello, Connor.
Connor's behind the camera. Adam, Spitfire Rapid Questions.
Hit me.
On the end of a forklift this time. You may or may not have seen, it's been changing every time, so we've got a forklift time now. What's your favourite project so far this year, Adam? Workshop project.
No, you can't do that, because I was going to say the Northampton College video was unreal and I really enjoyed doing that one.
That was good.
Workshop wise, I don't want to be boring. Everyone's been saying the Manchester project, so I'm going to say the wash trommel has been really cool actually.
The wash trommel has been cool. Going very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my answer.
Very nice. Spitfire Rapid Questions over and out.
Peace.
Okay, so this week's fun fact, Adam has found a really interesting one this week, actually. It doesn't involve planes or trains. I think we've done that to death the last couple of weeks. So, this week, Adam's fun fact is all about traffic lights. See what interests Adam, can't you? So, apparently the first traffic lights in Great Britain were in 1927, and they were in Wolverhampton, which isn't 8 million miles from here. Wolverhampton near Birmingham. So yeah, 1927, the junction of Prince's Square and Lichfield Street in Wolverhampton, they had some, they weren't the traffic lights that we know of as now, but they were inspired by the signals on trains. So we've gone back to trains, Adam, on this one. We can't get away from it, can we? Planes or trains. Anyway, train signals are obviously like an arm that comes up and drops down. Well, the first signals that controlled traffic on the streets were very similar to that, operated by compressed air, which is interesting. Used a lot of compressed air in them days for powering things. And it was more like a Cephomore style signal. And apparently it's created by a policeman turned engineer based on an idea by John Pete Knight, who adapted railway signalling for roads. So there you go. Wolverhampton, sort of world's first traffic light based on a Cephomore type system using compressed air, Wolverhampton, 1927. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Come back next week for next week's episode. We're gearing up for another phase of the install at Manchester. It's not next week, it's the week after, but we're getting stuff racked up in the yard to head back there the following week. 4 of us going for a big push, and then we've got another install in towards the end of July. So this is phase 2 of the install, and we'll be taking you with us.
Cool, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Here at Spitfire Engineering, we design and build predominantly recycling machines, and that sounds really crap because predominantly isn't what we really want. If you've got a positive can-do attitude and want to actually do something.
Right, go.
So if you've got a positive mental attitude, a can-do attitude, and there's too many can-dos and attitudes going on in here, this is hard work, isn't it? So if you've got a can-do attitude and a positive in how you go about things, that's as well, doesn't it?
Rob's looking a little bit worse for wear this morning. He went paintballing at the weekend, no? Airsofting, and he's got a few little dots that Adam doesn't approve of. Do you want to talk about your dots, Rob? No. He doesn't want to talk about his dots.
Adam will just judge me.
Because Adam will judge him. Judgmental.
I don't want you to think I'm judgmental.